despite putting in what was arguably our worst performance under Barry Robson, it is a point gained and another step in the right direction towards finishing third. It finished at Pittodrie yesterday, goalless. So what does it mean to the top half of the table? It is quite simply as you were, with Hearts getting a last gasp penalty equaliser against St Mirren at St Mirren Park. It means we go again. This is what's left. It's a huge game next week at Tynecastle. A win will secure third spot. Then we face St Mirren at Pittodrie for our final game at home this season. And then we finish our campaign against Celtic at Celtic Park on May the 27th. Good evening, how are you doing? A very warm welcome to Ali Beg ABTV this Sunday night after our 0-0 draw against Hibs at Pittodrie yesterday. So this is the review show where we look back on the game, and this is where we quite simply open the floor to you, the fans, to have your say. So why don't you come on, leave your comments under the video and just tell me how you feel about yesterday's performance against Hibs. Tonight is an open book. I've got no interviews, nothing at all. I just thought I would open it to the floor so that you guys can have your say, and I'll do my very best to read out nearly all of your comments on tonight's show. Please remember, be respectful, be friendly. Don't use any bad language if you can help it, please. So we've got a little bit, that we will react to tonight's show. But first, I thought it was only fitting that we just sort of remind ourselves of the incredible celebrations that happened yesterday at Pittodrie. And I would like to thank Dave Simpson, who sent me these photographs. And also congratulations to Meza and Samo for organising that magnificent display in the Richard Donald stand, and to the Ultras Aberdeen, who played a huge role in this display as well. And it was absolutely fantastic to see our Gothenburg greats on the field of play ahead of the game to receive what was a rapturous ovation from both the Aberdeen and, to be fair, the Hibs fans who also stood and applauded the Aberdeen Gothenburg greats as they came onto the pitch. So absolute respect to the Hibs fans for that. It was I watched it here on Red TV and it just looked absolutely magnificent, and kudos to everybody involved, because I know it was a lot of hard work. A lot of people gave up their time, and many volunteers helped with putting the banners together, setting everything up to make sure that it really was a moment to remember for our Gothenburg greats. And I put a picture which came from the football club media of the group outside the main stand after the commemorative plaque was unveiled, and I don't know who took the photo. I'm hoping it was Derek Ironside, and he captured them at just the best moment, where obviously one of the lads cracked a joke. And if you get a chance, have a quick look at it. It's just the best picture, and I think it really goes to show how tight these guys still are, and how close they still are, and what they mean to each other. It's an absolutely fantastic photograph. So if you get a chance, please have a look at it. So to the game. To the game. Okay. First of all, let's just remind you of the starting 11, because Barry basically picked the same team that started against Rangers at Ibrox. It was also the same substitutes. So Ross McCrory, obviously, this game came far too early for him. So it's still a little bit up in the air whether he will be back for next week's game against Hearts. But the talk is, that there were sort of whispers coming out that Barry is actually hoping that he will be fit to face Hearts next week. So that will remain to be seen. So that's where we were in terms of the starting 11. And this is what Barry actually had to say after the game, which I'll come to as well. So I'm disappointed with the fact that we drew a game at home, but I'm proud of the players and what they've given us over the last 3 months. They've been outstanding. We've kept another clean sheet once again, which is important. He went on to say, in football, you don't always play well, but right across the team, we dug in, we fought, and that's what I want to see. We didn't have a good day. We didn't play well, but that side of the game got us a point. Let's have a look at the match stats for you. So 47% of possession to their 53% possession. We had 8 shots in target, 8 shots in total to their 17. Only 2 on target to their 5. We committed 10 fouls in the game, and we only won 3 corners. So the stats are not great, I have to be honest. The stats really are not great. Just let me drag this in while we're at it, because some of the players have been tweeting. So just let me find that for you. So here's what Matty Pollock had to say. Hard fought point and clean sheet. Great atmosphere again yesterday. So that's what Matty Pollock tweeted yesterday. Okay, so let's have some thoughts on the game so that it can give you some food for thought on tonight's show. So from here to the end of the show, the floor is basically completely open. So we have no time limit, so we can just keep going as long as we wish. So first and foremost, it was a very poor display. I do think it's the worst performance that we've had under Barry Robson. But then I listened to his post-match interview with Rob McLean on Red TV, and I thought he spoke a lot of sense. And the point where he said, if we know we're not going to win it, we have to make sure we don't lose it. And I thought that was a really interesting point, because there must have come a time in the game when he thought, we're not going to win this game today. So it's about defending, keeping a clean sheet, and making sure we do not lose the game. And again, I have to say, I thought the back three were simply outstanding. And my man of the match yesterday was Kelly Roos, who again had an incredible game for Aberdeen and kept us in it throughout. I thought the boy Juan was a real thorn in our side yesterday. They hit the woodwork, 4 times, which was slightly disconcerting, I've got to be honest. So, look, Barry's right. We're not going to be able to play every game well. We're going to have bad days. And yesterday was a bad day. The fact that he's come out, he's recognised it, he knows it, and he will learn from it, and we just simply move on. And a lot of people commented on my socials yesterday saying, look, despite it being a bad performance, Hearts only managed to draw as well. So instead of it being 2 points dropped, it was, at the end of the day, another point gained. And it does put a step closer to securing third spot, and hopefully, depending whether Celtic win the Scottish Cup, that we do go into this final qualifying for the Europa League. So for me, it's about continuing to take the positives from it. Learn from it. Barry, the only way that Barry can improve as a manager and as a coach, and the only way that the group of players that he has can learn and improve as players, is to have bad days. We have to have bad days, I think. It's the only way that you learn. You have to learn from your mistakes, right? So I really hope I'm making some sort of sense when I say that. The Josh Campbell challenge on Liam Scales. Now, again, I don't like to see players getting sent off. Of course I don't. I don't want any player to be sent off. I want it always to be an even keel. But how is that not a red card? Because he catches Liam Scales in the chest with his studs. Now, if that's not endangering an opponent, I don't know what is. And I'm absolutely convinced, and I could be wrong, but I am convinced that Nick Walsh, upon seeing that challenge, was ready to give him a red card straight away. And I think because Andrew Dallas on VAR intervened, I think that's why he then showed a yellow. But I'm absolutely convinced that if VAR had not intervened, Nick Walsh would have given him a straight red card. That's what I think. I didn't joke. That was the other thing I wanted to speak about. So I was a little bit perplexed to why we didn't take him off and why he actually came out for the second half, because it was quite clear from the pictures that I was watching that there was something going on with his hamstring. after he made that darting run through the middle and eventually was tackled and it looked like he overstretched. For the remainder of the first half, he was rubbing the back of his leg. Now, we all know when you start rubbing the back of your leg in that situation, it's probably a hamstring strain to some degree. So I think he should have been hooked. He should have been hooked straight away because we've still got very important games coming up. And now Saturday obviously has now proved to be what could be our most important game of the season. So look, let's just hope it's a slight strain. We don't know yet. I've not heard anything. The football club haven't put anything out. Rob didn't ask Barry yesterday in the presser, which I was a little bit surprised about. So we'll have to wait and see on Duke. But I was a little bit perplexed to why they didn't hook him straight away. So that's what I think. Right, let's open it up. Okay. By the way, see doing all this stuff on the phone, that's going to change next season. When I'm talking about sort of the improvements and everything that I want to make to the channel, I'm going to be able to devise a way where I don't have to do this. So just bear with me for next season. Right, guys, delighted to see so many of you on, as always, on a Sunday. Thank you so much for watching. So Graham Buchan, hi Graham, how are you? Hi guys, what a great display and crowd at Pittodrie yesterday. Atmosphere was fantastic. Pity we only had a fantastic save to cheer at least now. Beat Hearts and it's all over. Laurel 101, thank goodness for Roos and McDonald yesterday. Kaiser, we got away with that yesterday, that's for sure. Simon Roy says, we were lucky yesterday, thank God for Roos. Grey Pilgrim, Jambo's still lagging behind, crucial clean sheet for us, great stuff from Kelly and the defence. Can't be bothered, I said, evening all, disappointed display from the team yesterday, kept looking to see if Goodwin had snuck into the dugout. Hopefully we can go down to Hearts and win, however Duke's injury looks concerning. Laurel F 1903, as Barry said, if you're unable to win, then make sure you don't lose. Scott W, good evening. Well, not the result or performance we were looking for, fairly abysmal in all honesty. We got very lucky on a number of occasions. Gordon Keith Ritchie, good celebrations for our achievements in Europe. I think the occasion got to the players. Eclectic Soup, bad day at the office, but a big improvement on 6-0. Bring on the Jambos. Paul Donaldson, hi Paul, good evening all, he said. Hope everybody's had a good weekend. Poor match yesterday. It's a shame it didn't live up to the occasion. Lots of work to do to improve for the Hearts match. Kaiser has said we can't afford to lose to Hearts. Matthew Call has said, good evening Reds. Very disappointed. No, it's not Matthew Call. It's Matthew Cool, right? I think you sent me a little message about that. I hope I've got that right now. Anyway, he says, good evening. Very disappointed, but as all saying, keeps the 5 points. Again, it was another thing that Barry was very quick to reiterate yesterday. He said, he's reminding us, don't forget where we were and don't forget where we now are. And the fact that at the end of the game yesterday, we are still in third place and 5 points clear. And let's be honest, we would have all snatched our arm off to do that, given where we were. Can't be bothered has said, how Campbell stayed on the pitch is a mystery. High boot, endangering an opponent, red card. I completely agree. Scott W. Why though did Hibs get that penalty? I've seen the incident many times now and I remain convinced the ball never ever struck Coulson. Even the Hibs players or fans didn't claim for it. Okay, so this is where I'm at with the penalty. I have to admit, I do think it struck him and I think it struck him on the elbow. I think it glanced off his elbow. But here's my thinking of it and my interpretation of the rules. So I think when the boy hit it on the volley, it's going in. And I think that slight deflection off Coulson's elbow has deflected it onto the post, which means he's basically stopped a goal-scoring opportunity. That's the reason why I think it was given as a penalty. But in all honesty, I called it yesterday. It's, when we're giving penalties for stuff like that, in the modern game, under the interpretations of the rules, we need to look at it, because it really is the slightest of deflections. Anyway. Gregor Stevens has said, disappointing display yesterday, structure and formation all wrong. Hibs got in behind our lateral centre-halves way too easily. It was one thing, it's what I said at half-time. They were getting in behind us all the time yesterday. Yeah. Paul Donaldson, we really missed Shinnie and McCrory yesterday. Yeah, we did. And we could miss them again against Hearts. I just really hope Ross will be fit for that game. Kaiser said, Campbell should be spending a night in the cells after that challenge. Oh, it was a shocking challenge, wasn't it? John Bleasdale has said, we cannot go to Tynecastle with the draw will do mentality. If we do that, we're asking for trouble. Let's try to get the win first and finish third off once and for all. I have to be honest with you, John. I don't think Barry will go there with anything else but a mentality but to win that game of football. I think, if you ask Barry, he wants to win every single game that he coaches and manages. They will not go to Hearts looking for a draw. Absolutely not. Graham Clark, good evening, Dandies. Hope you're all well. Dismal display yesterday. McDonald and Roos kept us in the game. Definitely a point gained rather than 2 dropped. Only positive, it's that Hearts drew as well. Kaiser's back saying, great display from the fans yesterday, which sports seem neglected to show. Seriously? You've got to be kidding me. Did they really not show the display yesterday? What? Can somebody confirm that for me, please? Because I'm absolutely baffled by that. Because, oh my God. Okay. John Bleasdale's back to say, yesterday was great to see the Gothenburg heroes getting a fitting tribute. The club and fans collectively did a fantastic job. I completely agree, John. Bruce McKenzie, on my way home now to the Isle of Lewis, on the ferry right now, should be home by 10 o'clock. Not the result we're looking for, but didn't lose any ground on Hearts. Still a great day at Pittodrie. Well done, Bruce. A great effort as always. Safe travels home. Scott W, we now have to go to Tynecastle next week and win. It's all there is to it. Win that and third is secured. We cannot afford to be going into the last day requiring some kind of result. Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, some of you are commenting on John Bleasdale's comment that Barry will not go into this game looking for a draw. Graham Clark's here. Hi Graham, how are you? Great support yesterday and well done to the club for all the 40th celebrations. They deserved every bit. Huge game on Saturday. Win and third guaranteed. Be great to wrap up that sooner rather than later. Paul Donaldson's back saying, thought Coulson looked out of place on the right. Should we have started Richardson on the right or Matty Kennedy? Can't understand why he isn't getting a game nowadays. Scott W said, okay, Barry said yesterday that will be a different side against Hearts. We have to be. We can't go there and perform anywhere near as poorly as we did yesterday. I agree. Alan Weston, we have to go to Tynecastle with a winning mentality. Cannot go with anything less, as the officials will also give us nothing. Kaiser's talking about Duke. Yeah, look, until we know the extent of his injury, who knows? But it didn't look good yesterday, did it? Suze. Hi, Suze. Disappointing, but still a point. Players look tired, and Duke has looked like he's carrying an injury past 2 games. We have a small squad of quality first-team players and struggled for cover. Yeah. Michael Taylor. Hi, Michael. How are you? He's wishing everybody a good evening on the chat. Let's keep our heads held high. We're 5 points clear. We're still in a commanding position. I have absolutely no doubt Barry and the lads will get his third. Can't be bothered has said, if Duke is out, do we change formation to go one up top or do we start Watkins? Or Scott W has said, or do we start Alfie Bavidge? Kaiser has said, Ryan Duncan in the midfield is not working. John Kilo, hope I've pronounced that right, John. Operation McCrory has had a 4-week till full recovery time span. Yeah, so a lot of talk about him having a hernia operation. So he needed that, he needed roughly 2 weeks to recover. Again, I've not seen anything official, but there's a lot of talk that Barry did say that he's hoping to get Ross fit for the Hearts game. Matthew Cole said Campbell should definitely have seen red. Kaiser said, yeah, we were struggling something hellish down the wings yesterday. We were. Do you know, I wondered at one point whether we needed to actually go to a back four yesterday, just to sort of nullify that, because they were causing us no end of difficulties down there, down our flanks yesterday. But look, the boys held firm, so let's take the positives from it. Skoska has said, worst performance since Barry took over. We never lost a point of our lead and other teams. Now we have a game less to catch up. Overall, it was a good day. Hi, Erica Mitchell. How are you? She's wishing everyone a good evening. The display at Pittodrie was fantastic. Nice to see the Gothenburg greats come onto the pitch before kick-off. As for yesterday's game, great save by Kelly Roos for Hibs penalty. It was a good save. Paul Donaldson, Kelly Roos won us that point yesterday. A few great saves and amazing celebrations after the penalty save. A few people said that their attention was diverted to Brian Gunn. Who else was it? Brian Gunn. I think it was John Hewitt, Neil Simpson, and I think the chairman as well, who all celebrated that save like it was a goal. Apparently it was fantastic. Kaiser's asking, surely Barron could do us a job in midfield. Yeah. David Scott, we're definitely going to miss Duke. Need to find a way of remaining games to get us up the park, because we're going to miss his pace. Yeah, I agree, mate. Yeah, Sue said we celebrated that save like we'd scored. Kaiser said McDonald was tremendous again. What a find. I completely agree. I'm so happy we got him tied up. What a fantastic player he is. Dearie me. Skuska's back saying Hearts needed to win 2 of the games against us. They've got Rangers and Hibs still to play. Yeah, look, worst case scenario, if they do beat us on Saturday, they then play Rangers and then they play Hibs. So it's 2 massive games for them as well. Rod Cow's here. Hi, Rod. Players we can normally depend on were giving away the ball far too cheaply in the middle of the park. Far too many hoofs back to Hibs also. Yet again, this is something else that I posted at halftime yesterday. We kept giving the ball away so cheaply. We were so poor in possession in the opening 45 minutes and just humping the ball forward all the time. It was like, come on, guys. We're better than this. Gregor Stevens has said, with this 3-5-2 formation, there's no natural width. Can't be bothered is asking if Majowski is carrying a knock, because he thinks he is. I don't know. Graham Clark has said he agrees in my comment about Juan being irritating as hell yesterday. There was some bum-twitching moments when he got on the ball, so I'm feeling that no idea how the players felt. Honestly, I thought he was outstanding for Hibs yesterday. Paul Donaldson has said there's absolutely no consistency whenever VAR is used. Some other times the penalty wouldn't have been given and the red card would have. It just makes it up as they go along. Yeah, it's just, I just don't get it. I just don't get it anymore. Tavis Thompson. Hi, Tavis. How you doing? Who's that? Oh, yeah. Okay. Markandale did well when he came on. Yeah, I thought he did okay. I thought he looked quite bright. The Last of Us GOAT. Pretty poor. Team seemed nervous, but a point and a brilliant save from Roos. We've still got third. Exactly. Yes, Matthew, I've got your name right at long last. Paul Donaldson. Good to see Johnny Hayes has now got another job at the club to add to his many roles. Need a goal net fixed. Call Johnny. We might not have had a second half at all without him. Did you see that yesterday when the nets came a little bit loose? Kaiser said it was a penalty, and I'm not one to ever say that. It's only Connor Goldson that gets away with that. Right. Gordon Keith Ritchie said never a penalty. Can't be bothered has said, why have we not seen Mislovic? The boy was supposed to be something special. I have no idea why we're not seeing him. You see, again, Barry picks the team and he picks the squad, the matchday squad, by watching these guys train. And if you're not performing in training and if you're not putting a shift in training, then he's not going to pick you. It's as simple as that. So I don't know. Maybe he's just not doing it in training. I really don't know, fella. Paul Donaldson said, reporting Scotland didn't even mention the events on Friday. Really? It was all over STV. It certainly was. I know that for a fact. Oh, dear. Grey Pilgrim said, yeah, just talking about, Celtic Rangers and all that. Just seriously, This is where I get so confused with the editorial thinking. It's just my personal opinion, but why, from what I understand, did they not show the Rangers Celtic game first in the highlights? A dead rubber, a meaningless game. When there's games which have a huge importance for chasing Europe at the bottom of the table. Come on, guys, you have to think editorially about this. Ah, dear. Kaiser saying, yes, definitely should have gone to a back four yesterday. John Bleasley said, Sports Scene showed the United display, but only the Heroes banner from ours. Okay, so at least they showed something. Michael Clark, poor yesterday. We are fine in defence, but a bit lightweight in midfield at present, and also struggling in attack. I think a lot of this year's signings up front cannot match Miofsky and Duke. Laurel F1903's back saying, problem at right back, as I thought Pollock was unsure what Coulson was or was not going to do. Yeah, there was a moment in the game where Matty Pollock just humped the ball forward, and the pictures immediately went to Barry Robson, who just it was a moment of despair, and thankfully it was just before half time, and I'm absolutely sure that was addressed at half time. Thanks, Matthew. John Blaisdell's back just saying, just to clarify, folks, I didn't mean Barry will go with that mentality, just stating that I didn't want us to. Apologies if I didn't make that clear. Don't need to apologise, Sean. Oh, good fella. Kaiser said, I think Robson will be quite defensive against Hearts. Oh, don't say that. Scott W. said, we looked nervous yesterday, in all honesty. Scott can't be bothered, has said, who do we think is going down? Oh. I got a feeling it'll be United. David Scott has said, whatever happened to Roberts as well? He scored like 17 last season. We've never seen him. He's been injured. That's his problem. So he got, so he had that initial injury. Then he came back, and then he had a setback. That's why he's out, David. Matthew Cole's back saying, different subject, but I only noticed that on the official SPFL highlights from Ibrox, the Goldson Duke challenge was not shown. Don't get me started. Suze, regardless of the results, we put on a great show at the ground for the Gothenburg greats. Atmosphere was absolutely fantastic. Okay, so just let me clear a little bit of space. Just one last little thing to chuck in before we finish off tonight, because we've nearly done half an hour. And it's just a gentle reminder. So I worked out that 45% of you who watch the show haven't actually subscribed to the channel yet. So it doesn't cost you anything, but obviously the more subscribers that I get, the bigger the channel becomes, and the more content I can bring you and all that sort of stuff. So if you would, please consider subscribing. I'd be very, very grateful for that. Thank you. Graham Clark said, people's thoughts on Campbell and Vinny for next season. Do you think they both come back for Barry to look at to maybe get in the team, or be sold in the summer to make way for more signings? That's a very interesting point. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. From what I understand, look, Dean's done really well at Stevenage. Made a fantastic impression down there. So there's absolutely no reason why Dean can't come back, get a really good pre-season under his belt, and hopefully he comes back a more mature young man and a better player for his experience down in Stevenage. So why not? In terms of Vinny, I'm just not sure about Vinny at the moment. Skuska said, squeaky bum time for the run-in. We wouldn't have it any other way. Graham Buchan has said, I think our squad is a bit light. And did anyone else see Johnny rubbing his hamstring a few times in the second half? Yeah, he overstretched at one point. I did notice that as well, Graham. Matthew Cole's back saying, I would take them both back in terms of Dean and Vinny. Campbell has done well down there, and we know what Vinny can bring. Yeah, Skooskar's reminding everyone to press the like button if you're enjoying tonight's show. Can't be bothered thinks that both Dino and Vinny will be gone. Susan said, I'd like to give Vinny a go. Right, guys, we have done half an hour, so thank you so much. Right, so just to let you know that I have confirmed Beg's Banter interview with Graham Watson, who played a huge role in us winning the 1990 Scottish Cup final. So I'm hoping to get that done maybe one day this week, get that out soon. And I've also confirmed a Beg's Banter with Avril Stavrum. So I'm going to be doing that very soon as well. So look out for those two shows coming very soon. Now on Saturday, because it's a 12:30 kickoff, my plan is to come on air at 11:30 in the morning. So I usually come on at 10, but I think I'm going to come on at 11:30 because that will still give me enough time to prepare for the big Saturday football show on North Sound as well, which means that we can react instantly to the breaking team news. So that's the plan for Saturday's preview show for the Hearts game, to come on at 11:30, 1 hour before kickoff, so we can get the breaking team news in and all that sort of stuff. Jake something has said, hopefully we get third. Love from Zimbabwe. Thank you, Jake. Hope you're well, mate. Michael Clark, Hearts have only one game in last 8. Have won only one game in last 8. I think that's what you mean. The Nightmare 5-0 with Jim Goodwin in charge, still fresh, but we're a different beast to go there with no fear. Yeah, don't worry about what happened before. That's not going to happen. John Bleasdale said, Barry, I'm sure, said he didn't want Vinny to go, but it was done before he got the job, so I think he'll get a chance. Okay. And Sue said, enjoy your Sundays. Right, guys, thank you so much for being on. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Have a fantastic week. And I will see you again live on Saturday morning for the preview show against Hearts. Look out for those two Beg's Banters. Take care. Bye for now. Stand free.